My name is Ethan HD. It's ETHAN and then HD. Drove me to be a wrestler. And the best way I can explain it is there's this comedian, Bo Burnham, and he's a song called Art is Dead. And in the song, he talks about that all comedians and actors and entertainers are just a kid at another kid's birthday party, upset that it's not all about them. And I kind of feel like that is like really well describes everybody in entertainment. And so growing up, I wanted to be a Power Ranger and found out that's not a real job. And then I fell in love with wrestling and I said, this is what I want to do. And once I found out wrestling was worked and they weren't really like a real fight, I knew this is what I was gonna do. I was like, I don't have to be like a real, not that wrestlers aren't real athletes or couldn't beat you up, but you're there for the showmanship. And that's what always drew me in, is just to be an entertainer and it's just you and one other guy and all of the spotlight is on you. I honestly think it's the interaction of it all. I think part of it is the spectacle of it. That's when you get to like the WWE or like AEW or like Impact or Ring of Honor, like there's definitely a spectacle to behold. But I think when it comes to independent wrestling or people seeing it live, it is that interaction you don't get with other forms of theater or other forms of entertainment. You know, if you're at a concert, you're sitting there taking everything in. You have very little impact on the performance. Or the same if you're going to see live theater. If you go to see The Wiz, you have no impact on their lines or what's gonna happen. But with wrestling, there's a genuine and immediate reaction. You know, if somebody yells something, you know, you suck or boo, and the wrestler turns and looks at them. You don't get that with other forms of theater. And I think you build that connection so quickly with your audience that people are drawn to it. They feel like they're a part of it and they aren't just taking it in, but they're truly affecting the performance. And so I think that's what draws people into professional wrestling. So my body has a weird adverse reaction to, I guess, stress. I get more and more tired. Like the more anxious I get, the more my body starts to just shut down. And so I'll be going over things in my head or whatever, but like you'll see a lot of guys doing like push-ups and are jumping around, like psyching themselves up. And I'm kind of just standing there, like half asleep almost. Like you ever see people like on their way to work at like 5 in the morning, like on a train, they're just kind of hanging out. That's kind of me. And then the music hits and I head out to the curtain and then it's immediately like being woken up with cold water. But right before I am super docile and just kind of in a weird focused haze, I guess. I've been very lucky to see a lot of cool places. More of the recent stuff is last year I spent 3 months in New Zealand as the head coach of Bad Luck Fale's dojo. And so for 3 months, I just lived in New Zealand, out in Auckland. It's cool to be there long enough that you get comfortable and it doesn't feel like you're visiting or on vacation. And I think the difference is when you're visiting somewhere, you're just kind of taking it in through your eyes and gathering your experience. And it's very, very one direction. And then I find when you get comfortable somewhere, you're getting it both ways. You're getting people's opinion on where you're from. You know, like, so there's that. I've also been to India. I stayed there for 6 months and was part of the Great Kali School in India and trained students over there. I've gotten to go to Dubai, I've been up to Canada, all across the US. And, you know, just get to meet some really cool people, some really interesting people. I guess I very much enjoy it. I think traveling is one of the coolest parts of wrestling. And especially getting outside of our country and getting a real feel for like how the rest of the world works and how the rest of the world views America. I feel like when you're in one place your whole life, you tend to think like, this is how things are. This is like the way things should be done. And then the more you see other ways things are done and how other people conduct their lives, you go, well, these people are doing something a little bit different. I kind of like the way they're doing it. I think it gives you a better perspective on your home life. If you want to know more about me, Ethan HD, you feel free to stalk me on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Ethan H. Diaz. You can find me on Instagram and Snapchat at EthanHD312, it's Chicago's area code. And you can also find me on Twitter at RealEthanHD, which started out as kind of a joke, the name, anyways, as far as people putting real before their names. And then some like Twitch kid username EthanHD, so don't be fooled by this fake 14-year-old Minecraft playing EthanHD, at RealEthanHD on Twitter. DM me through any of those if you would like to book me as a professional wrestler, as a stand-up comedian, or just to hang out. I do weddings, so there's that too.